The pull-up is hands down one of the best exercises of all times, one of the best ways to build up strength and hypertrophy in the lats and upper and middle back. However, is it completely necessary for your training goals? Well, that's what we're going to cover in this video. G'day everyone, and welcome back to Powersthetics Fitness, helping you build your body to both look and perform at its best. Today, we're going to be looking over the pull-up and determining if it's necessary for your training goals. Starting off with strength. I think the pull-up is hands down one of the best ways for building up strength in your back. While there definitely is other options, such as the deadlift, the bent over row, I definitely think that if you want to get strong overall in your back, the pull-up is an amazing exercise as it works both relative and absolute strength, especially if you load up on heavy weighted pull-ups. Next up is hypertrophy. And in my opinion, there is no better exercise for building up size in the lats, rhomboids, and upper back than the pull-up. It'll hit almost every single muscle in the back except maybe the upper traps, and additionally, it'll also work your brachialis and brachioradialis and your grip strength. Overall, if hypertrophy is your goal, I would definitely not skip the pull-up. If your goal is endurance, I think the pull-up is a great way for building up endurance in the back. However, if you're new to the pull-up, you may not be able to get as many reps and therefore it won't be as good for endurance. However, if you get strong to the point where you're doing 15 plus reps, this can be an amazing exercise for building up that endurance in your back and allowing yourself to be able to cope with all the lactic acid buildup. Next up is power. And to sound like a bit like a broken record, I also think the pull-up can be amazing for this. You can do explosive clapping pull-ups, you can do fast reps, high reps. Overall, the pull-up just can be used for almost any type of training goals that you need. However, the question is, what if you have an injury and therefore you can't do the pull-up? What are the options from there? Well, in general, the most likely culprit if you do have an injury when it comes to the pull-up will be the scapula and the shoulder joint. And therefore, in that situation, I would opt for going for a slightly lighter lat pull down. Even though I do think the pull-up is hands down a better exercise than the lat pull down, I think that if you have a shoulder injury, then you should start with a lat pull down as you can monitor it a little bit easier and therefore will have less pressure on that shoulder joint. If it comes to a situation where you don't have access to a pull-up bar, this is going to be a very rare instance since most of the time if you're at a gym, they'll have a pull-up bar, or even if you don't have access to a gym, you can easily find a pull-up bar at your local park. But if you do not have access to any of this, I'd recommend doing something such as the inverted row or something like a dumbbell row. Finally, the question of what if you can't do your first pull-up? Well, first of all, I'd recommend building towards a pull-up. Just because you can't do one right now doesn't mean you shouldn't be working towards doing so. There are definitely a lot of exercises, as mentioned before, doing things like the inverted row, stuff like a scapular pull-up, assisted pull-ups, negative pull-ups. All of these are great for building up towards that pull-up. Also, if you don't want to actually build up to that pull-up, the lat pull-down is a great alternative, as well as various other back exercises such as the bent over row. So, is the pull-up necessary? I would say 100%. Almost no other exercise can give you so much bang for your buck when it comes to the pull chain in strength, hypertrophy, endurance, power, and it is a great thing to be working towards for beginner lifters. But hey, let me know what you guys think. And there we have it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like. If you've got any questions regarding anything you saw in this video, be sure to comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you want your own program where I break everything down for you, be sure to check them out in the website, link in the description down below.